Hello, everybody. Hello, everybody, and welcome to this episode of Talk Tuesday, where we get to really dive deep into embodiment and presence. We've been teaching for a long time that to be able to move through who you are and all the things that you want to heal in your life, you've really got to be present and you have to embody this. So let's get started.
This is such a big topic, and I want to share with you guys. We're on the tail end a little bit of self-love summer, and what we're kind of transitioning over. This is still very much a self-love practice, and you'll understand why as we go through. But what we're shifting into now is some really powerful information to support you all with respect to your nervous system and this idea of being embodied and being aware of your true self, your physical sensations, your the wisdom that is inherent within your body. And so just kind of notice, we're kind of shifting into this new area that we're going to be supporting you. It's going to kind of culminate in a special interview series that Mia and I have been working hard on. Mia's another one of Mia's brainchild children. And so that is coming up. The first show airs on the 18th. So you'll be seeing in your inbox the opportunity to sign up for this free interview series that's really focusing on the nervous system. It's called Overcoming Overwhelm, a nervous system approach to health, success, and well-being, because your nervous system really is at the foundation of everything else that you want. It's at the foundation of your ability to navigate situations, your ability to change, your ability to overcome limiting beliefs, your ability to be healthy, to heal from disease, illness, injury, surgeries, to heal from anything, and also to heal emotionally and spiritually from trauma. So please understand how incredible these few weeks that we're really going to be diving into the nervous system, how powerful it will be for you if you're able to, come and hear and start to understand the relationship between your nervous system and everything else that you're showing up here to work on it and to do.
And also, Lori, can I also drop in here? Also, everyone, don't think that the self-love work is gone. The self-love work is always here. We're just adding on components to bring in more for you to absorb, to use in your practice and all that. So you'll be getting everything like we always love to give you. But I just wanted to because the self-love this summer has been such a beautiful hit and success. I guess you'd say that it's always been here, but we haven't specifically been using those words we used to. And so now we're using them again. So
yeah, because really it's the two foundational pieces upon which everything else is built, right? You have to have that relationship, that concern for self, that dedication to self or devotion if you're going to make all the changes that we just talked about. Step into your authenticity, live a life that you love living, that includes, the fulfillment and the purpose and the meaning, and the nervous system on the other side. So let's start by talking a little bit about what embodiment is. Embodiment is really just being aware of what's going on in your body, being present with your body and the physical sensations and what's happening within your body. It's really that simple, but it's a kind of a complex area, because for so many of us, our bodies, maybe we haven't had the best relationship with them for one reason or another. If you're somebody, well, I shouldn't say if, because we have all experienced things that are overwhelming for our system. We can label these as traumas, but really it just means that any kind of an event or experience that was more than you could handle in that moment, right? And those are experiences that more or less get trapped in the body. The energy that was present because of that experience can't be processed because you didn't have the tools, didn't have the ability, so it remains in the body. And so sometimes being embodied is something that's very difficult, because that scary energy, right? The energy of that overwhelming event may be living in my body. And in order to protect myself from it, I had to shut it down. I had to push it away. And of course, the body doesn't exactly allow us to do that, right? Because it will, that energy will make itself known. And sometimes it has to do that through disease or pain, or other types of chronic illnesses. So it is not that we really get to just tuck it away, right, and forget about it. The body in its wisdom and beauty will bring it up for us to deal with, to process, so that we can be whole again, because we can't be truly whole if we are living with a part of ourselves shut down. And yeah,
there's really so much about the body that we as humans don't know, because we block ourselves from all sorts of things from the moment we get our first rejection, whatever that is, that hurts our sweet little being. And it's so beautiful to look at the body, to recognize your body, to be connected with your body. This last year, I don't know if it has been since 2022 or whether it's been just since 2023, but those of you who are in the academy know that I'm a very, this is a crazy word to use, but it's the only one I can think of, die hard. I'm really adamant. There we go, adamant. I'm really adamant about staying on top of your thoughts and your bullshit. And I'm going to be more and more adamant about it, because as loving as I can be, because I've experienced a major surgery recently, and through the embodiment and the work that we teach here, the shocking thing is my pain is practically nothing. And as I breathe and work through things, it disappears, or my body relaxes and it does its proper stuff that it has to do to become healthy. I can't tell you, I'm going to do a talk on it. I haven't told Lori yet. I was going to tell her this morning afterwards. We're going to do a talk on this, because it is too powerful of stuff to not reach out to the world. My nurse, I was very grateful. She's also a healer and a nurse. And to be able to have her witness how quickly I would shift through stuff, and have her just say, "This is beautiful, Mia." And so for me, that's stuff that I get to bring to you. And those of you who don't know, that's okay. You'll hear more about it when we do the talk. I'm not quite ready to get into all the details yet, but let me tell you, the basic breath work, start with your breath work, your somatic stuff in the academy, and you will be able to get through anything that, and you'll find out in a couple weeks when we do this talk what I'm talking about. Great pain that most can't suffer through. They told me recently the words you don't want to hear from when they remove a body part of yours, that you don't want to hear from your doctor, is, "Well, you're going to have to learn to get off that narcotic, so spread it out." And so I'm just like, great, I'm going to breathe right through it. So you've got to learn how to listen to your body and love her, literally love her. Sometimes it makes people uncomfortable for me to say, "Your beautiful body." But if you're not telling your body how much you love her, how beautiful she is, and how connected you are to her, you're not going to have the results you need. You're not going to have the results you need.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of, which we'll share in the talk, but I'm thinking of one specific episode where I looked down at my body and I could have been hysterical, but I yelled, "I'm a queen," because that's exactly what my whole experience through this has been. Incredibly beautiful. So know that, and these are just tears of joy, because it's so
Incredible.
powerful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that. I can't wait to hear more about that, because, and I think it will be really helpful, because as we talk about these concepts and try to relate them and teach them, they're experiential. they're not really a textbook kind of thing. You can understand it on an intellectual level, but you won't really get it until you start having your experiences. And so sharing this experience and with each other, you'll be able to really understand, what does that mean? What does it look like? So that'll be a really, really helpful thing. And we've got some groundwork to lay here over the next few weeks, and certainly with the show. So it's all, coming together to help make sense of, what does it mean? Why is it so important to be embodied? And what does it mean? And how do we get there, right? These are the things that we want to be teaching you over the next
Lori, I
couple of
also
months.
think that going forward as of today, think about this, everyone. What does embodiment mean to you, and how deep do you have to go? Just like when you're planting a plant, right? You have to be down a certain amount so that the wind doesn't take the dirt away. You have to protect it. You have to water it a certain amount. You have to make sure it gets sunshine. And you better be talking to your outdoor plants just like you do your indoor plants in order for them to grow, because that love energy supports every living thing. So think about, how deep do you need to go within yourself to actually connect? This is a statement that most people don't even think about. And just as you support yourself with the gentleness of the self-love talk, you support your body with the exact same. And as you watch your body respond, come into alignment with it, with that gratitude and that love. This is our vehicle that we travel in, right? And so as we connect, we can allow ourselves to do things that we don't normally think we can do. It's about that change of perception that will change your awareness into the things that you can do, that you've told yourself, if I was in that situation, I couldn't do. So it's really remarkable to bring our body along for the ride.
Or let our body be the leader. Right? Which is something we can aspire to, because our bodies have so much more wisdom, right? That's where our seat of intuition is within the body, certainly not in the mind. The mind will make up every story in the universe. The mind will tell us we can't do things. The mind will tell us how limited we are. Look at your past experience, the mind says. The future will be the same. And so the wisdom of the body is such an incredible tool and gift that we can take advantage of, right? So let me start by just giving the tiniest background on why it's so important, or how embodiment plays into some of the other things first, as a kind of a backdrop. So if we are going to achieve anything in life, whether that is navigating pain, heal, overcome the limiting beliefs, create the relationships and the careers and the financial security and the well-being, all of the things that we want, right, are created by our genius self, our greatest self, right? And each one of you, your greatest self is capable 1,000% of creating everything you want in life, whatever it is that's on your heart. It's meant for you. And your greatest self, sometimes called, I'll call it the higher self sometimes, but it's the same, is capable. It knows exactly how to get you there. So then the question becomes, how do I get in touch with and live life from my greatest self? And one of the most important things that we have to remember is that our greatest self, that's associated with our prefrontal cortex, our human brain, our evolved brain, right? And that's the part of us that has access to our creativity, our good ideas, our sense of what we need to do, our long-term goals, our discipline for ourselves. All of it resides in our higher brain, okay, our prefrontal cortex. Now, so many of us are living life stressed out, accumulated experiences that were overwhelming, traumas, big and small, are constantly part of our everyday existence, just trying to live in this world sometimes, right? Where there's so much going on. We don't have those healing practices and that downtime and the ability to really recover from day-to-day life, right? So many of us are not living connected to our prefrontal cortex, our greatness. We're living in survival mode, which is our limbic brain. And our limbic brain is concerned about one thing: how do we survive the next 2 minutes? Right. And it's very limited. It's, you have on your blinders, you're like, what's right in front of me? What's the fire that needs to get put out right now? You're not seeing the big picture. You don't have access to all of those beautiful creative ideas. So if we think about that for a moment, we can obviously see that when we're in survival brain, being driven by our limbic system, none of the things that we know in our heart that we want, right? We don't know how to get them. Or we're even beyond that, we may even be confused. I don't even know what I want in my life. I don't even know who I am, let alone what I want, right? And that those are all a function of living, spending so much of our time in survival brain, right? So if we want to make that switch from survival brain to higher brain, greatest self, we have to work with our nervous system. Okay. And we're going to talk a lot about that. But today, what I want to make sure, and the reason why I gave you that background, is because if we're going to work with our nervous system and bring ourselves back into what's known as parasympathetic, which is just our connection with our prefrontal cortex is possible when we're in parasympathetic. If we're going to do that, we have to be embodied. It's a prerequisite for being able to be in parasympathetic. And one of the reasons that you can kind of understand is if we're disconnected and we don't know what our experience is, that doesn't feel very safe, does it? We don't have a sense of safety when we're disconnected from our bodies. And maybe you've noticed this, or maybe it's something that you can take into this week and kind of play with the idea of, when I'm just paying attention and I'm able to tune in to the sensations of my body, how does it feel? At first, it may feel very strange. It may even feel dangerous if your body's not been a safe place for you. But as you learn how to navigate this world and how to get in touch with your body, you're going to find this incredible sense of safety and well-being when you're able to really tune in and be in touch with the body. And that's how you get to your parasympathetic state, where you have access to this greatest self. So understand, as we're talking over the next few weeks, how important this really is, and embodiment being one of the fundamental practices for being able to access your greatest self. Mia, before we kind of talk about some of the other reasons why it's so important, anything you'd like to share as far as the importance of, embodiment in order to put us in touch with this version of us?
Gosh, the one thing that overall everything, and it's not even going to be as expressive as, you got to have it, and you got to be it.
Yeah.
I can't tell you, well, I will tell you over time, but I can't tell you how important it is in each aspect, from the emotional state of being that you feel where you can't regulate yourself, right? To your eating.
Yeah.
That's another thing. To, if you're not well, or you're having surgeries, or you have a mental depression, all of this can be transformed in the state of that deep connection with self. And that's the incredible beauty thing, is you can go down your list of stuff that you want to shift and change in your life, and actually transform the things that have been stopping you by learning and practicing this full embodiment of who you actually are. We're not the broken down beings that we once thought we were. We're not the traumatized victims. We're these incredible, empowered beings that can create so much. Now, on this world, many won't get there because they don't think they can find the tools, they don't think they can do it, they can't be guided. So for anyone who has heard Lori and I speak, that that's not your situation. You have a guidance system in front of you.
Mhm.
Now take the tools and do it yourself. Literally, watch your fears disappear. Watch your heart open. Watch your body get healthier. Watch the food you eat literally change to a more high vibrational food because your body's desiring it. It's talking to you and saying, I think we need the broccoli over the popcorn. I mean, these are things that actually transform in our beautiful existence when we're embodied. We can't be embodied and leave out one aspect of who we are. That's why we're a perfect trinity with the body, mind, and spirit. Perfect trinity. So know that any little issue, and we call it little because we know we can transform it, even if it's been the monster in your life, know that everything can be transformed through your own awareness as we're helping you shift and change. You can't change yourself through our awareness. You have to do the work yourself. But there's amazing guidance that supports that. And that's the beauty that that's the beauty that we bring that others are not as consistent with.
Yeah, yeah. So, this is like we've been saying, this is a big topic, and there's little pieces that we're gonna pull in. But for today, really understanding that, why be embodied? Number one, if you're cut off from your body in any way, you can't feel whole and complete. You have a feeling of being unsettled. Okay, so it's important, certainly for that reason, to call home the parts that you may have had to, shut down from for one reason or another. With the current skills, resources, guidance, support, you can absolutely reintegrate those parts of yourself to be more complete and whole. You need embodiment in order to feel safe, right? And this is why it's such a self-love practice, right? There's a lot of us, we may not even be able to put our finger on it, that just kind of walk around with a sense of lack of safety, and it shows up in so many different ways. It shows up in our inability to take chances, our inability to have an open heart, our inability to, seek a relationship or be vulnerable in relationship. There's no area of life that the lack of safety doesn't touch. So in order to feel safe, we have to be aware of our body and really truly open to what's going on, hearing and paying attention to what's going on if we want to heal. And when we talk about healing, it doesn't just mean healing from in the sense of, a major surgery or a disease or something like that. Healing has to occur, right, on a daily basis. We're exposed to so many different environmental and physical and emotional things on a day-to-day basis. So if we're going to renew, right, and not age at the speed of light, right, but to be able to have healthy immune systems and rejuvenate on a regular basis, we need to be in this state. That's where healing occurs, is in that beautiful parasympathetic state of your nervous system.
And anything is a healing. I identify change as healing. So even in the parasympathetic, if you're dealing with money issues that are not your body, it's your mental stuff, and you get that realigned properly in your awareness, what happens? You get calm again, you get settled. So it's in every aspect of you. Sorry, I just wanted to share that.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you for reminding us. So the healing happens, the change that we're talking about. So Mia saying it's all the change is the healing too. Yes. And I absolutely agree. But all the change you want, maybe you have behaviors, unwanted behaviors that you feel like, oh, I'm so frustrated. Why do I constantly blow up at my partner, or fail to set boundaries, or use food when I'm feeling stressed or low, or shopping, scrolling, binge watching, or whatever it is. And none of these things are bad. You're not bad because we do these behaviors. But if you recognize, gosh, why do I do these things? I know they ultimately don't help me, but yet I find myself going back to them over and over. This is embodiment, and your nervous system work is crucial to being able to change anything, to being able to be resilient with your emotions, instead of feeling like I get knocked down by my emotions and my world becomes chaotic because of my emotions. Learning to see them as your guidance system, learning to just see them as, oh, part of my beautiful human experience, and being able to shift and navigate them. All of these changes that you want for yourself requires embodiment. And also, like we said before, as well, wisdom, right? The guidance that your body can give you, that gut feeling, that, flutter in your heart, anything. Thank you, Kara. And just being able to have that as a compass for your life is incredible. So these are all the reasons why, and we're going to expand a little bit more, that embodiment is so important. So now we want to tell you and help you begin your own embodiment practice so that you can see what it feels like. How do I go about? I don't even know what it is, let alone how to get more embodied. Mia, do you want to give us maybe a couple of, because there are many, and it's not a one size fits all. And sometimes people will sign up for things, and they'll do this breathing workshop, and 10 people will go to it, and 2 will be like, oh my gosh, my life has changed. 2 will be like, yeah, it's kind of and there might be 6 people who are like, yeah, just really didn't do it for me, because it's not a one size fits all of your systems are different, and the ways and the avenues into your body are going to be very different. So we teach a lot of different types of practices, and once we get to know you, it's easier for us to kind of feel it out and be able to recommend for you which ones might be the most effective. But there are some for you to try on. I just encourage you to have an open mind. Not, if one doesn't do much for you, you're not doing it wrong. There's nothing wrong with you. It's not that you can't do this work. It just, that one might not be your avenue. So we'll give you a few, and you're going to hear a lot over the next month, and practices for both embodiment and working with your system. So this is a time that you'll be getting a lot of really great information.
So here's 2 that are on 2 sides of the same coin. Okay. So here's a form of embodiment where you sit with your body and you're thinking about how it feels. How would you like to feel? How can you make your body feel happier? There's different techniques. There's smiling, there's laughing, there's different ways, right? I, on the other side of the coin, have been the warden of, and I'll call it a warden because I'm so hardcore with it. On the other side of the coin is the mental issue of embodiment. If you know it, express it, and keep going forward. So every greatness that you are and become is a true embodiment of you, because you've asked for it, you've nurtured it, and you've allowed it to absorb within you, so it becomes you. Just like Nicole was saying before, it was off camera, but she was saying that she's been waking up happy, and then pain set in, so she went back to bringing in that joy to move through that pain. That's the same thing. You have to know that when something comes right up into your face, whatever it is, your screaming child, your sore leg, or whatever it is with any of us, we're not batting it away, we're dissolving it. And that is that full embodiment of the awareness that you can do this and stand strong. So whether it's starting out with just listening to yourself, build that communication. I just have to say that this is the strongest thing that's got me motivated right now, is being aware of your thoughts and how you can actually grow the greatness of who you are through listening and communicating loving, but sticking to it. stopping the story that likes to recycle over and over and over again. If you have one of those stories, put it aside literally in your mind. I'm going to remove you right now because you give me no benefit, and see what that's like to just remove it. And if it comes up to sneak back in, you have to stop it at the door. No, I'm not thinking about you. You don't support me. And then once you recognize you've gone several days or a week without thinking about it, don't celebrate in the way, Yahoo, let's bring it back in, but give yourself those beautiful, we did it. And then we can do it again and again and again. And it just gets easier and easier.
Yeah, I love that you brought that in, because with the ideas that I'll share now for embodiment, it's likely to happen that your thoughts are going to come in and maybe kind of disturb your work. So remembering that, you can just gently, without engaging with them, without allowing them to, judge them, none of that. You can just simply allow them to pass by and keep coming back to the body, keep coming back to the body. So, there are so many things that you can do. And one of the most simple things is just setting aside a couple of minutes, 2 or 3 minutes, maybe a couple of times a day, to just truly check in and ask your body, what are you feeling? What am I noticing? What's the kind of the state of my nervous system, which we'll talk more about, but do I feel calm, and just kind of alert and, feeling pretty content, peaceful? Am I feeling kind of a little bit frantic, like I need to be mobilized, I need to take care of stuff? Or am I feeling kind of overwhelmed and shut down? These are the 3 states of the nervous system that we'll really dive into and help you understand. But just checking in and rating your nervous system is a really, really powerful way to get started, right? Just that awareness of where you are a lot of the time can provide you a perfect starting point for how to become more aware and noticing what's happening. I think I would like to offer you guys, I have a very short meditation, because this work can be very challenging. It can be a lot to be inside the body if we've not been there, not spent time. And like I said, it can feel like a little bit of a dangerous place sometimes. So I created a very short, it's less than or right around 5 minutes, where you can go through the different areas of your body, really focusing in and noticing the sensations of the various areas of the body, and then focusing in on one area that feels kind of particularly alive, and then tuning in if there's a message from that part. And I think that I'd like to offer that to just an email to this one time, and we can kind of give that away as something that might be very helpful for this talk today. The checking in, and then this short meditation. Some of the other ideas that I really love is, putting one hand on heart, one hand on belly, and just doing some deep breathing and noticing, how does this feel? Right? And there's no right answer. You may say, oh my gosh, I feel trapped, I feel suffocated. Somebody else doing the exact same thing may say, oh, I feel such a peace, I feel relaxed. Somebody else may say, I started to cry, it just brought up sadness. So we're not looking for any particular right answer. The only right answer is the awareness of what is happening. These are 3 really practical things that are not something that you have to spend a lot of time on. You can certainly do them as often and as much as you like, but these can be a very important gateway, an opening to this embodiment that we've been discussing and talking about how important it is. And as we said, we always say this, but we want to support you, because the information that you're learning, it's one thing to teach, and then it's another thing for you to take it see how it applies in your life, and then to really start using it. So we always have the Facebook page and or responding by email if you have an experience that you want to share or question about something that you're integrating from us. But in this area in particular, I feel like it's so important because it's all experiential. So you may go into it and you may say, oh, I had these, wonderful feelings. As I was saying, there's such a range of experiences. Or you may say, yeah, I couldn't get a single thing. I have no idea what's going on in my body. Or I had a sense of terror or a sense of sadness or a sense of glee or whatever it is. And being able to have a little bit of feedback, we'd be very happy to support you as you start to explore what's it like to be in touch with and to become embodied. Know that that we are here to work with you on that and to support you.
And there's no right, wrong, good, bad, judgment, shame, blame, nothing about any of this.
Yeah.
Congratulations if you get a feeling with your body and you're like, wow, she's happy, or oh, I'm a little scared. It's okay.
Yeah.
It's a developmental area that each little recognition deserves its celebration because that brings connection. That brings a desire of wanting. And so there are many who will be like, I can't feel anything.
Yeah.
It's just like when you pray or ask the universe or God for something and you're like, I'm not being heard. Guess what? You're not listening enough. And it's okay. It comes with love and patience.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
There may be
That
something.
desire.
Yeah. And there may be something that you're protecting against. Which
And
is,
it'll all come out at once.
Yeah. Or it may be like a little like a little hiss, like just when you've got something with bubbles in it and you just turn it just a little bit so it doesn't go all over. And so just know that there is help and support for that. And of course, this is being a foundational piece, as we mentioned, along with the self-love. This is something that is powerfully taught throughout the Academy experience because it is important, and we keep coming back to it and making sure that and weave these practices into people's work. And sometimes they have a block. We identify a limiting belief that's really stopping them from creating a meaningful career or a meaningful love connection, whatever it is. And the block will be their nervous system or the lack of embodiment. And so it's it has to be a backdrop in all the work that we do. And so we're always weaving it throughout. It has a dedicated module to it, along with a somatic experiencing library. And somatic experiencing is just this: it's learning how to have experiences somatically with the body, right? And so it's a really big component of the work that we do, right alongside the discovering your authentic self, dealing with limiting beliefs, breaking through them, learning to become emotionally resilient, right? Taking care of your health, your relationships, and building the life that you want. So all of these are pieces that are part of the Academy. And so that's how we lovingly support you in being able to not only discover your greatest self, but also create the life, the greatest life, from that place. Yeah. Nicole, hi.
So I've got to the state now because I worked with Mia and she's always telling me, be gentle with yourself, be gentle with yourself. Mm-hmm. And for a long time, I found it hard I was disassociated from my body because I didn't want to feel pain. Yeah. So I just want to urge people that it is a process, and it has taken me like 2 years with her to get to a state of disengaging from my body and not wanting to feel because of fear of pain, and not wanting to associate with that pain because I wasn't prepared to deal with it, because then I would have to deal with all the trauma that caused the pain. So it's a process, but just to let people know that be gentle with yourself and don't be judgmental. If you can't, like now I was doing an exercise with Ming Tong, who was saying, imagine smiling from your brain. And then once your brain is smiling, smile to your heart, and then smile to other parts of your body. And that was an exercise, smiling from different. Well, 2 years ago, I couldn't have done that, but I was very judgmental because I was angry at myself because I was angry at my body for feeling the way it was. So that's where the love and support from you guys. Yes, we have to do the work. I had to do the work, but continually Mia being on my back saying to me every single time, be gentle with yourself, be gentle with yourself, love yourself, over and over again, was just an opening to the door.
Yeah.
And it's and even if you get a crack, just show gratitude that you have that little crack, that today I have awareness that I can feel my pain. And if that is all that you can do, be grateful that you can just feel.
Yeah. Or that I can feel it for 5 minutes or for 2 minutes.
2 minutes,
breathe
even
through
just
it and get rid of it.
connecting at all and not being disassociated, because
Yeah.
it is a process. But with you guys guiding you, I'm telling you, I'm still in chronic pain, but I feel like I'm smiling from behind my eyes because I have managed to control my state.
Yeah. Yeah. So beautifully powerful. And you bring up, a really good point. And this is why it's so experiential, because we all have different bodies inside. And so it does take, we learn how to be gentle with ourselves through other people. Ideally, that happens when we're very young and our caregivers are attuned to us and can provide us that attachment, and that we really need to learn how to do it for ourselves. But if that wasn't available, and for most of us, it wasn't available on the level that we truly needed it, some of us not at all, right? And some of us not ideally, we can learn to do that. But very often, we still need that example. We still need that voice and that loving presence to show us how to do it. But it's absolutely possible. And Nicole's such a beautiful example of someone who's, if you stay dedicated, there is nothing that can't be worked through.
There's something really strong coming through me, Lori, and you know that it could be somebody in this audience or somebody on the replay. But what I'm feeling is, stay in touch. We cut out so much of what we want and desire because we'll do it later, or we feel that it's not important enough. Here's just a small example. I opened up to having a dog brought into my life 2 years ago. But over the last couple of weeks, I've spent time talking to my husband, and we've really, I always talk to my husband, but about this specifically, I said, the reason I've opened up to love as in the framework of an animal, and as far back as 12 years ago when we first got together, he and I, is because I was specifically looking for a love that I didn't know I needed. So listen to yourselves, whatever it is. I'm in the near future for a orange Mancoon or Norwegian forest cat soon. I told them that's it. That's what I want, and that'll be my next baby. So whatever you want or desire, you need to allow it in instead of, oh, later, I can't do it now, because sometimes that little love that we focus on is something that we absolutely need to burst through us. I was through being a mother of babies, right? But I wasn't through of being a mother of babies. So it's whatever soothes you. Don't negate something. I would never be like this big businesswoman talking about little kittens or puppies on a talk before, but it's something that actually has connected to me deeply. And I realized for me, that's one of my love points I need to fulfill. So whatever your love point is, whether it's more focused time on you, whether it's, a little rabbit, a rat, a cat, or whatever that stirs your pot, don't push love away. when you can absolutely be the most loving person. It allows you to love more when you can give love. Now, I'm not saying everybody go out and get a goldfish or something to love on. Do what's right for you. But be aware not to keep pushing things away that we want, that we think might be silly, because we're above that, because we're not above anything that we desire.
I love that. Yeah. And it goes back and it reminds me of, you know, the special or the Talk Tuesday on permission to dream, right? Yeah. So it's all connected, all of these beautiful
Right.
concepts.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Awesome.
Okay,
Well,
everybody, thank you so
yeah,
much.
I'm really excited. I really want to hear from you guys how this landed for you, and you know, spending a week trying some of these practices on. What did you find? What did you notice? My Facebook page is a great place to share that. And if you need additional support or want to talk about how we could support you in this, please reach out.
And also, we sent out a survey this week on the I Am Self-Love Challenge. If we did get some replies back, which was really beautiful. But if you guys are listening to this and can pop over into that, I think it says important, can you do me a favor or something like that in the title. We're going to be doing quite a few this year, like maybe 3 or 4 this year. We'll be doing another one before the end of the year. It helps us provide you with more information that you actually want.
Yeah.
So apparently some people want sex and relationships on our some of our future talks. So which
Makes
we've done
sense.
before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everything is
All right.
fair game. Yeah. Thank you guys. It was great to be with you today.
Good to see you.